River comes a 7 of hearts, which is a blank. An opponent checked me again. Here I definitely wanna go for it, so I bet the third bullet $100. Welcome to this episode of How to Crush No-Name Hold'em Games in United States Casino. I'm June. Today's episode is last month I went to National Harbor MGM Casino and playing some cash games, and it's going to be a lot of interesting hands, and let's go fishing. Today we're playing small blind big blind 1-3 US$ game, and we bought in for $300. And the first hand we're gonna share is color of player limped. I got Queen 9 offsuit on the bottom and raised it to $15. Opponent chooses to call. Flop comes Ace King Jack 2 clubs. He checked to me, and I think this board is favoring my range a lot, so I bet $10. Of course, theoretically, on this draw-heavy board, we should bet a larger size. But I think because this is a low-stake table, I don't think opponent will consider this too much. And another advantage of betting small size is opponent gonna call a lot of combos, and then we can bet on the turn and then fold them on the turn. And after I bet the flop, opponent chooses to call. And turn comes a king of clubs. And so the Flondo first complete and also pair the board. Opponent checked again. Here I got a blocker for a no flush, and I only got queen high, so I think it's a fantastic bluffing spot, so I bet for $30. If I got call on the turn, probably I'm gonna bet a third 3 on the river. And very luckily, opponent choose to fold here, so we take down the first pot on the table. And the second hand is I got pocket kings under the gun and raised it to $15. All folds to small blind. A very aggressive player, he 3-bet me to $60. And because we're all very deep behind, so I definitely want a 4-bet. And I raised it to $130, and he chooses to call. Flop comes Jack Jack for a rainbow. He checked to me. Here the SPR is smaller than 1, so I bet for a 1/4 the pot. $60, trying to induce his bluff. And then he shoves all in for $191. And of course I choose to snap call. Turns and river comes 9 of hearts and jack of hearts. So he has less jack combos, which is a good news. And he shows ace king of diamonds. And very luckily we scooped the second pot of today. Dang. And the next hand is middle position player open raise to $20. Hijack player calls. I got pocket kings again on the bottom, and I 3-bet to $80. And to my surprise, middle position folded, and hijack player rejams me. But he only got like $100 behind, so I choose to snap call. And opponent shows ace queen of diamonds. Flop comes 8-3 deuce 2 diamonds, so opponent got a lot of outs on the flop. And the turn and river comes 4 of spade and 7 of heart, so it's very good that we take down this huge pot again.
You got the flush draw with the ace. Could have been yes.
And the next hand is I got ace king offsuit on the cutoff, and I raised it to $20. Bottom player calls, and small blind, the aggressive bro 3-bet me to $120. And before this hand, the aggressive bro has a lot of action on the table, including one hand he all-in bluff on a 1-card straight board and then shows the bluff. And facing this kind of aggressive 3-bet, I'm considering we have very deep behind, over 200 big blinds. I don't want a 4-bet and got jammed, so I choose to call my ace king. And bottom player folded. Flop comes ace jack 8 2 diamonds. And very luckily we hit a top pair top kicker, but the small blind bets 200 bucks, and this is a very polarized bet. I think I only got one option, which is to call, trying to keep all his bluffing range remains. And turn comes a very dicey card, 10 of clubs. And he didn't think for too long and push all in for about $400 in a 660 pot. Well, and this is a very tough decision because this is a double flush draw board, and I lose to a lot of hands like ace jack, pocket jacks, or king queen. Of course, we didn't play for too long. I'm not sure if his aggressiveness will bet like ace deuce or ace 3 of clubs, or even ace king or ace queen. Considering my ace king is like top of my range, I still choose to call. And river comes a 7 of clubs. An opponent shows ace jack offsuit, which is a 2 pair. And very unfortunately, we lost this huge pot. Not sure if you got any ideas about this hand. If you were me, would you fold this hand? What's your reasons and what range you think opponents may have? You're welcome to leave a comment and tell me. The next hand is a low jack aggressive player limped and cut off a very tight player, raise it to 80 bucks. And I got 9-7 of clubs on the button, I choose to call. And low jack player also calls. Flop counts queen 10-8 rainbow, low jack check, and cut-off player bet for 35 bucks. Here I got a double-ended straight draw and a backdoor flush draw. I choose to call. And low jack player also calls. Turn comes an ace of spade, low jack check again. And cut-off player tank for a long time and then shoves all in for around 200 bucks. Here I can only fold my hand, and turns out low jack player snap call and shows king jack of nut straight. And cut-off player has pocket eights. And river comes a queen of hearts, so the cut-off player made a bold and then took down this pot. But the saddest news is the aggressive player after this hand, he keeps bluffing for a couple of hands and then lose all his chips. So we lose our opportunity to revenge. The next hand we're gonna share is hijack player raised it to 12 bucks. I got pocket sevens on the big blind and choose to call. And hijack player is a relatively passive player. He got pocket queens and ace queen, only choose to call without rebet. And so this time he chooses to open raise. I think he's got a pretty strong range. And after I calls, flop comes king 9-7 2 spades. And very good, I hit a button set. I check to him, he bets 15 bucks. Here is a lot of draws on the board. I don't want to slow play my set, and I choose to check raise to 50 bucks, trying to get value from his king X, and he chooses to call. And turn comes a 4 of spade and complete a frontal flush. And because I'm out of position, I choose to check. Because the opponent certainly will have some flush on his bet call range, and opponent chooses to check back. River comes a deuce of diamonds, which is a complete blank. And I choose to bet for 50 bucks. It's a blocking bet, and I'm hoping his king X would call this river, and sadly he chooses to fold and shows jack 9 offsuit, and which is a very surprising combo because he open raised pre-flop. I thought it would at least be some like king jack above hands, but I still successfully scooped this pot. And the next hand is hijack player, a loose player, raised it to 15 bucks. I got 10 jack suited on cutoff, choose to call. Small blind also calls. Flop counts 10-9-3 2 hearts. Small blind checked. Hijack player C bets 35 bucks. And with this bigger size betting, I think my top pair plus jack kicker is not good enough to raise, so I choose to call. Small blind folded. Turn comes a 4 of hearts and complete a frontal flush. And opponent check again. Here I think my 10 pair has some showdown value. I don't need to bluff here, so I choose to check back. And river comes a 8 of diamonds. Opponent check again. Here I'm thinking if I can get value from worse. And after a small tank, I think it's too thin because there's no combos that's worse than my 10, because 10-8 and 10-9 now are all 2 pairs. So I choose to check back. An opponent shows 7-8 offsuit, and which is a very loose hand, and I successfully get a little bit rebound from that. And the next hand is a very desperate bluff hand, and pre-flop is a new player choose to straddle under the gun to $6, and low jack player calls. I got pocket 5s on hijack, choose to raise it to $30, and cutoff player and low jack choose to call. Flop comes ace, ace, 9, 2 diamonds. Straddle and low jack player checked. I think this is a very dry board, and although this is a 4-way pot, I still try to steal this pot with a small size bet. I bet for $30 and only straddle player calls. And we can see wizard on this board, if this is a hijack versus big blind heads up, on this board is favoring the hijack range, so it's almost 100% betting. And the size will also use small size, which is good enough. And turn comes a 3 of diamonds. Opponent check to me again. Although opponent's range still got some flush, but overall I think continue betting can still fold a lot of hands on opponent's range. So I bet for $55, and opponent choose to call. Here we can see wizard on this kind of situation would check a lot of hands, and will continue betting like ace king or ace 9 or ace 3, this kind of good ace. And with some bluff, which is small pocket pairs, and especially with the diamonds. And I think the reason probably is we did not block the range we want opponent to flop, such as some 2 high cards. And also if we choose larger size, opponent have to fold like 9x hands. And turns out river comes a 7 of hearts, which is a blank. And opponent checked me again. Here I definitely wanna go for it, so I bet the third bullet $100. And I kind of forget why I choose a small size here, probably because I play for too long and I forget to count about the pot size. And very luckily, opponent didn't think for too long and choose to fold. We scoop this pot with a desperate bluff. And we can also see on the wizard, and if we go to this river, actually we didn't suggest betting a lot of our combos, but small pocket pairs, especially for pocket 5s with diamonds, is a very good bluff combos. And of course I can choose to bet a larger size, so that it makes more sense to fold some ace-x hand in opponent's range. And then comes to the last hand we're gonna share today, and pre-flop action start with under the gun player limped, plus 1 player raised to $21. I got ace king offsuit on cutoff, I 3-bet to $65. He choose to call. Flop comes 8-6 deuce rainbow, he checked to me. Here I bet for $50 and opponent choose to call. And turn comes a 4 of clubs, which is totally no help for me, and opponent check to me. Here I think betting don't have any sense here, because we have less than 1 SPR and his pocket 10s and pocket jacks is very hard to throw to me on this spot, and so I choose to check for a free river card. And river comes a queen of clubs, and very sadly we didn't hit our top pair. And opponent choose to shove all in, and I don't think opponent has too much bluff here, so I choose to fold. And very sadly we lose the last part of today. Today we went through a roller coaster session. We started very strong, we got 2 pocket kings and then we win a bunch of chips, but then we made a huge mistake on the ace king off hand and we lost all our chips. Although we make some rebound on the pocket 5s bluff, but we still cannot win overall today. Today I bought in for $800 and I cash out like $502, so it's about a buying loss. But I think it's poker, like we cannot win every session, but we just want to play every single hands correctly and then do some review afterwards and wishing the future would be better. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.
That is your chance to be ruthless.